Welcome to Deep Fear, where your darkest nightmares turn real. Tonight's story may just keep you awake, so let's start the video. And don't forget to subscribe.
This happened to me in late 2021. I was a 22-year-old cybersecurity student at the time, trying to finish my final semester at a university in Pennsylvania. I had a fascination with the darker side of the internet, not just the surface-level creepypasta stuff, but the real infrastructure of the dark web. That curiosity almost got me killed. It started like most bad ideas do, with boredom. I had just finished a hellish week of midterms and had no plans for the weekend. My roommate was out and the apartment was unusually quiet. I was lurking on a private hacking forum where users sometimes dropped Tor links to onion sites. Some of them were junk, some were dead, but some were weird. One particular thread caught my attention. Redroom47xyz.onion, real-time interactive stream, not for the faint of heart. Watch or participate. Aiswam. I hesitated. Red rooms are infamous on the dark web. Supposed live torture streams where viewers can pay to control what happens to the victim. Most experts say they're hoaxes or FBI traps. But this post was recent, and the replies were disturbing. People were confirming it was active again this week. I don't know why I clicked. Morbid curiosity, maybe. But I copied the link, launched Tails OS from a USB, turned on my VPN, routed through 3 nodes, and opened Tor. It took a long time to load. When it finally did, I landed on a black page with a countdown timer. Next event begins in 02/14/58. Beneath it were the words, "Entry requires authentication. Click here to prove you're not a bot." I clicked it, expecting some CAPTCHA or standard gatekeeping nonsense. Instead, a box popped up with a riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? An echo. Easy. I typed it in. The screen flickered. Another prompt appeared. Verify by webcam. I panicked. This was not normal. Most dark websites avoid any function that requires real-time video or location data. But my laptop's camera light stayed off. Maybe it was just a scare tactic? Then it asked, voice check. Say the word veritas aloud. That's Latin for truth. This time the microphone icon blinked. Against my better judgment, I leaned forward and said it. Veritas. The site flashed green. Verified. Your seat is reserved. A chill ran down my back. It was like I had just passed a test I didn't even understand. 2 hours later, I was back staring at the screen as the timer hit 0. The site transformed into a dark video feed, grainy like a CCTV stream. There was a man tied to a chair in the middle of a concrete room. No windows, bare bulb overhead. His head was bleeding, face swollen. To the right of the stream was a chat box. It was active, with dozens of anonymous users typing in real time. Many were using coded slang I didn't recognize. Others were placing bids. User 53, $500, take his thumb. XRedIX, $800, I next. Z-Wolf, $1,200, let me decide. I want the fire again. At first I thought it had to be fake, like some ARG or snuff performance art. But then a masked figure entered the frame. He was holding a red tablet, watching the chat, selecting options. He looked straight into the camera and nodded. And then he began. I don't want to describe what happened next. I'll just say, it wasn't fake. You can't fake that kind of pain. The man screams, the shaking, the blood, the way he lost consciousness, the way they revived him just to do it again. The worst part? I didn't click off. I froze, horrified, I couldn't look away. In the chat box, a notification popped up. Admin, welcome new viewer, user 93467. Admin, first time watching? Would you like to participate in tonight's finale? My heart jumped. I hadn't typed a word. I never entered a username. How did they know it was my first time? I clicked no. Immediately, a new pop-up appeared. Understood. Please stay tuned. Your presence has been recorded. I forced myself to close the window. I shut down Tor, killed the Tails OS session, and unplugged my USB drive. Then I physically covered my webcam and turned off my laptop. I barely slept that night. The next day, I checked my Proton mail. There was a new message in my inbox from no reply at veritaswatch.org. Subject, we're glad you watched. Body, Red Room 47 is invite only. We don't tolerate tourists. You saw what you shouldn't have. You have 48 hours to prove your loyalty or be marked. There was a link at the bottom. Join tonight's decision. I slammed my laptop shut. I was freaking out. How did they get my email? I'd never linked it to anything. I even used a fresh session. Then I remembered the voice verification. My voice, my face, my location might have been compromised. I ran a full scan, found nothing. But that night, I noticed something outside my window. A black van, parked down the street, no plates. It was still there in the morning. I didn't go to class. I called campus security, told them someone was following me. They laughed it off. Probably just a delivery van. I knew better. By 6 p.m., another email came. Subject, last chance. Decide, observer or participant. 2 buttons, observer forever. Participant initiate. I didn't click either. I shut everything down again and drove to my parents' place in New Jersey. No tech, just a burner flip phone. I thought if I disappeared for a few days, they'd forget me. But when I got there, my dad handed me a package that had arrived for me that morning. No return address. Inside, a USB drive, a black card with red text, "You were already chosen." It took me 2 weeks to get the nerve to plug it into a sandbox environment. No internet, just local access. What I found? Footage of me. Clips from my laptop camera, my apartment hallway, even footage from inside a coffee shop I went to, as if someone had followed me for days. There was also a file titled Observer 93,467, Participant 93,467. It had a countdown. 6 hours left. I wiped the drive, destroyed it, moved again. I filed a report with the FBI Cyber Division, gave them everything. They said they'd look into it, but I never heard back. That van never returned, and no more emails came. But sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I swear I hear the sound of a low, grainy stream loading, a voice whispering, Veritas. Conclusion: I don't mess with the dark web anymore. And if you're curious, don't be, because red rooms are real. And once you watch, they watch back. This happened to me in 2022. I was 28 years old, working night shifts as a package handler for a courier company in Kentucky. What I'm about to tell you might sound made up, but it's not. I messed around with something I shouldn't have, and it nearly cost me my life. Back then, I spent a lot of time on Reddit, mostly deep in conspiracy subs and dark web threads. There was this one subreddit called r/mystery boxes. A lot of it was trolls and prank unboxings, but sometimes someone would drop a story that felt off, like they were genuinely scared. One post got my attention. Dark web box arrived. There's a tooth inside. Help. I went down the rabbit hole and found a marketplace on the dark web called Delphi Post. It offered all kinds of shady services: fake passports, hacked SIMs, stolen credit cards. But one category stood out: personalized mystery parcels, delivered to your door. There were reviews from people claiming the items were life-altering. Some talked about rituals. One guy claimed the box knew things about him no one should know. I didn't believe it. I thought it was a grift, curated junk to freak people out. But a part of me wanted to see what the fuss was about. So stupidly, I ordered one. Price? $250 in Bitcoin. Shipping time? 3 to 5 days. Delivery method: do not interact with courier. Creepy, right? But I thought, whatever, it's a scam. Maybe I'd get a weird doll or something to laugh about. What I got was something else entirely. It was a Thursday afternoon when the box came. No truck, no knock. I found it just sitting on my doorstep. Plain brown cardboard, no labels, sealed with thick black tape. I brought it inside, heart pounding with anticipation. It didn't look remarkable, but something about it felt off. It was cold to the touch despite the 80-degree heat outside. I recorded myself opening it on my phone, expecting to post it later. Inside, I found a Polaroid photo of a man standing in a dim hallway. His face was blurred, intentionally scratched out. A vial of some dark, syrupy liquid with a handwritten label: room temp only, do not drink. A scrap of yellow fabric, torn and stained with something brownish red. A black card with red ink text: you were seen. I flipped the photo over. There was writing on the back: this is the first place. Coordinates: 39.0882 degrees north, 84.5161 degrees west. Out of curiosity, I Googled the coordinates. They pointed to an abandoned motel just outside of Cincinnati, a place called the Morrow Inn, shuttered in 2007 after a string of suspicious fires and missing persons. That's when I stopped recording. That night, my phone buzzed at 3:17 a.m. No ringtone, just a silent vibration and a blank notification: you should go. I stared at it, no number, no app. Then my apartment's power cut off. No wind, no rain, just darkness. My phone flashlight wouldn't work. I grabbed the box and shoved everything back inside. Something inside the vial had started to bubble, even though it was sealed. I heard something outside my window. Footsteps. Then 3 sharp knocks on the glass. I lived on the 2nd floor. The next morning, the power was back. My phone had 23 missed calls from private number. No voicemails, just a silence that screamed louder than words. I wanted to throw the box out, burn it, but part of me needed to see it through. So I made a plan to drive out to that motel. It was 2 hours away. The place was exactly what I expected. Chain link fences, boarded up doors, graffiti everywhere. Windows shattered, crows nesting on the roof. I parked around the back and crawled through a hole in the fence. The moment I stepped into the courtyard, my phone buzzed. New message. Inside. Room 6. I hadn't told anyone where I was going. I hadn't posted anything online. I found room 6. The door was open a crack. Inside. Dust, mold, rotted furniture. But something had been recently disturbed. A trail of footprints in the dust led to the closet. I opened it. Inside was a mirror, the size of a full door, leaning against the wall. Written on the glass, in what looked like dried blood. Observer confirmed. Then I saw it, my reflection. Except it wasn't mimicking me. It smiled when I didn't. It tilted its head the opposite way, Then it pointed directly at me, and the glass cracked. I ran, didn't look back. When I got home, my apartment door was slightly ajar. I lived alone and always locked it. Inside, nothing was taken, but the box was back on the table, unopened, as if I'd never touched it. But I knew it wasn't the same. It was heavier. I opened it again. Inside was a photo of me taken from behind, standing outside room 6. The same vial, now half empty. A second note. 2 left. I checked my crypto wallet. The transaction I used to pay, gone, wiped. No trace on the blockchain history. I checked Tor forums. Delphi post was offline, gone without a trace. Even the cached page was missing. I tried reaching out to another user who had posted about the boxes weeks earlier. Their account had been deleted. No activity since. That night, I unplugged everything in my house. No tech, no internet. Still, the buzzing returned. Only this time it wasn't digital. It was inside the walls, like insects, like whispers. A week later, I got another parcel. No return address, no label, just my name written in red ink. Inside, a broken wristwatch stuck at 3:17. Another coordinate 36.5541 degrees north, 86.7055 degrees west. I didn't even bother Googling it. I packed a bag and left town, ditched my phone, got a burner car. I never went to that final location because I realized something. The box wasn't leading me somewhere. It was drawing me in, testing my curiosity, and rewarding me each time I took another step with more horror. It's been over a year since I received the first box. I've moved twice. No more internet at home, but sometimes packages still arrive. One came last week, smaller this time. It had nothing inside, just the black cardigan. This time it said, "Final delivery pending." If you ever see a dark website offering mystery boxes, don't touch it. It's not just a prank. It's not just a scam. Some of those boxes aren't sent from warehouses. They're sent from places that shouldn't exist. And some parcels, they don't just arrive at your door. They wait for you. Because once you open the first one, you're already inside the second. This story isn't easy for me to talk about. It's been almost 2 years, and I'm still in therapy for what I saw. I used to be a security analyst for a company that specialized in cleaning up compromised devices. Sometimes we'd find spyware, keyloggers, viruses, the usual. But one case I took on in 2023 led me into something I wasn't supposed to see. A live stream that only exists on a part of the dark web you can't just browse to. A place they called the terminal net. And a room labeled 43. A woman named Denise brought the laptop in. She looked frazzled, like she hadn't slept in days. She said her 15-year-old son had been acting strange, barely sleeping, locking himself in his room, and staring at his screen for hours with his headphones in. Then, one morning, she found his bedroom empty. No note, no phone, just his open laptop, with a single web page frozen on the screen. I remember what she said to me. "I think he was watching something awful." There was a countdown and a room number, room 43. She wanted me to check the device, find clues, maybe recover chat logs or browsing history. At first, I thought it would be a typical case of a teen getting sucked into dark web rabbit holes. I never expected to uncover something so disturbing. When I powered on the laptop, it booted into Tails, a privacy-focused OS that runs from a USB. Whoever set it up knew what they were doing. The drive had been wiped, but Tails had left behind some session remnants in volatile memory. I pulled what I could, reconstructed part of a Tor browsing session. One site kept coming up in the logs, TerminalNet, 43.onion. But unlike regular .onion links, this one didn't resolve through Tor. It was masked behind several layers of redirection and what looked like SSH tunneling protocols that I'd never seen used for streaming before. Eventually, after hours of probing, I found a cached version of the homepage in the system memory. Black screen, red text, "Welcome to TerminalNet. Entry to room 43 opens once a month. Entry is final." Below that, a note. To access the room, you must be chosen. Viewers do not become participants. Participants become content. I froze. The browser was locked to full screen mode. No way to exit except killing the session entirely. In the corner of the image was a timestamp and countdown. Opening, March 17th, 2023, 2 a.m. UTC. The same day the kid disappeared. A part of me should have backed out then. But something about that phrase, "participants become content," rattled me. I had to know more. Not just to help the mother, but because a small part of me needed to understand how something like this could even exist. I cloned the setup, rebuilt the USB stick, and tried accessing TerminalNet again from a secure environment. After several attempts and spoofed identities, I finally got a new message. IP recognized. Session unlocked. Room 43 will open in 0, 2, 36, 58. The countdown began. As it ticked down, the screen remained black, except for one line. Headphones required. No screenshots. No interruptions. It felt like I had just RSVP'd to something ancient. When the timer hit 0, the screen changed. No graphics. Just a terminal window with audio. A female voice whispered, "Welcome." Tonight's story begins in the corridor. And then, grainy video loaded. A dim hallway. No visible doors. No windows. The camera was moving like a first-person view through a narrow underground corridor. The walls were stone, wet, like something out of a medieval prison. There was no music, just static, breathing, footsteps. After 2 minutes, the view stopped in front of a heavy metal door labeled in chalk. 43. The voice returned, "He's still watching." "Are you?" The door creaked open. And I swear to God, the figure in the doorway was the missing kid, still wearing the same hoodie his mom described, blank eyes, staring directly at the camera. Then, the stream cut. And something appeared on my screen. Session incomplete. Exit now or proceed as participant. I closed the laptop. Immediately. But I wasn't fast enough. The next day, strange things started happening. My phone would buzz, but there were no messages. Just that same voice whispering in my ear when I picked up, "Are you still watching?" My monitors would flicker. My external drives began to corrupt. The air in my apartment felt wrong, heavy. Then one night, I got a knock on my door. I live alone. No one should have been there. When I checked through the peephole, nothing. But on my doorstep was a small envelope. Inside, a still image from the Room 43 stream, with me visible on the monitor. A piece of broken glass with a red number painted on it. 43. A note. "You entered. There's no exit. Watch or be watched." I tried everything. Contacted friends in cybersecurity. Tried tracing the original hosting nodes. Nothing worked. The stream didn't behave like a regular site. It wasn't hosted from a traditional server. My guess is it was peer-to-peer, bouncing through compromised devices like an underground broadcast only visible to those who knew where to look. One contact, an old buddy from DEF CON, told me it sounded like a ritualized botnet. Something built not just to serve data, but to collect viewers, like a digital cult. Then he said something I can't forget. If you saw Room 43, it saw you. And it doesn't let go of its audience. One night, I heard footsteps inside my apartment. I locked every door, but when I entered the hallway, the lights were off. And someone had written something on my wall, in red marker, "You opened the door. Now it's your turn." My laptop, untouched, suddenly booted itself. Black screen, Room 43. But now it wasn't a hallway stream. It was a live feed of my apartment, from behind me. I turned, nothing. When I turned back, the stream was gone. About a month later, I got a tip from someone in a darknet forum who said they recognized the terminal net code. He said it was connected to a project from the early 2000s, something called the Broadcast Doctrine, an experiment in psychological torture via personalized media. He said every room was different, tailored to the person viewing. Room 43 specifically was known for pulling people in who were looking for missing persons. It doesn't just show horror, it creates it. Denise, the mother of the missing boy, called me in tears one day. She said her doorbell rang, and when she checked, no one was there. But on her doorstep, a flash drive. On it was a short video, her son, sitting in a room, not moving, not blinking. Behind him, a chalkboard that read, "Still watching." The timestamp? 3 days ago. I don't work in cybersecurity anymore. I disconnected completely. No smart devices, no Wi-Fi. But sometimes late at night, I still hear it. That voice, whispering from my old hard drives that I thought I destroyed. Room 43 is never closed. If you ever find yourself deep in the dark web and someone invites you to Terminal Net, remember one thing. You don't choose to be in Room 43. It chooses you. And once you're there, you either watch or you become the show.
If you enjoyed this nightmare, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.